8:37, a professional matchmaker, Jane Carstens, with me. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
We thought we'd bring you in as our Ask an Expert today, heading into New Year's. I know a lot of people stress out about getting a date for New Year's Eve, or one of their resolutions maybe is to hopefully be in a relationship in the new year. So we thought we'd ask you for some professional advice. So what about looking at dating on New Year's Eve? What are some tips?
Well, if you already have a date, then it's pretty much taken care of for you. If you don't, that's okay too, because sometimes it's good to actually take a step back and take stock of where you're at.
So if you're going out on New Year's Eve and you're looking for a date, what are some of is it a good night to be looking for a date, or is it a night where, I don't know, what's your advice?
Well, I don't think it's the best night to be out looking for a date, because it's pretty much a couple kind of night. But getting out and being social doesn't hurt at all.
Okay, you're already dressed up, right? You're heading out for a night on the town, so hopefully you're looking your best as you're heading out, making yourself a little bit more appealing.
That's right, that's right. And chances are you're a little more open to talking to people as such.
Okay. Now, you say in this, women be bold. What do you mean by that?
Well, you know, get out there. Wear red lipstick. Men are really attracted to women who wear red lipstick. You know, and be fun and open to meeting people.
Shine your shoes for the men? Really? Is that something men forget about their shoes?
Well, you know, it's just one of those little details women look at. So if you really want to impress someone, then look your best.
Somebody told me that once, that you can always tell what a man is all about by either the shape or the type of shoes that he wears. So interesting. What about going out with friends?
Well, it's great to go out to parties and events that are out there and actually go with someone, but don't stick together. I mean, you don't have to be tied at the hip, and it's the best way to meet a whole bunch of new different people that your paths would never probably cross.
What if you're looking for love in 2014 then? What are some of the things that you should be on the lookout for?
Yeah, well, I think that for 2014, I think if it hasn't worked for you so far, it's time to change it up a little bit. You know, sometimes we sometimes look at people and say, wow, he's too tall, he's too short, he's too bald. You know, don't judge a book by its cover. You know, actually give someone a chance. Actually get to know them is a really good thing to do.
Online stalking, is that a big problem out there right now?
Well, Googling before a first date is common practice nowadays.
Really?
So a lot of people tend to want to find out more information before they even get out on a date, and sometimes a little mystery is good. You know, sometimes just knowing a little is better than knowing a lot.
Okay. Getting out there and meeting people, I think that's a big hurdle for a lot of people. Oh,
it's a tough, you know, where do you go, right? You know, and then where do you go to find somebody who's right for you? You know, weed through all that, and it takes some work.
Location, location, location. Where have I heard that before?
Yeah, well, real estate, which is kind of an interesting way. We spend more time and money, you know, looking for a house or looking for a car, and when we're looking for the most important thing in our lives, our partner, you know, we leave it to fate and chance. Sometimes going to certain places where you know, if you're a woman looking for a man, that is more male skewed. There are a lot of great places downtown. There's a new Blackbird restaurant bar that at happy hour is full of men. You know, that's one location. So those kinds of things, that going out to activities where things that you like, where you might meet somebody that does some of the similar things you do as well.
Right, right. Okay, good advice. We have a couple of emails that have come in. Anastasia from Surrey has emailed in and said she loves to send flirty texts. What are the rules about texting with a new prospect?
Well, I guess the question I would have to ask her is, how new is the prospect, number one. But, I mean, flirting is a good thing, but I think it's best when you're doing it with someone sitting in front of you.
Right.
And it also depends, you know, texting, email, you know, we could type one thing and someone misconstrues it for another. And if you're flirting, that could be a really dangerous thing.
Absolutely. Do you find that matchmaking, your profession right now, has changed a lot with social media, with Twitter and Facebook and texting?
It's changed in the way that we communicate. We don't go back to the basics of, you know, picking up the phone. Thanks for the date last night. You know, we send a text. It was great to meet you. What's wrong with picking up that phone and making that call?
Okay. What about meeting people? Do you think that's changed the way people are meeting as well?
It is, because we take longer time to get out and meet someone. We'll text and chat for 2 months versus actually getting out there after a couple days of actually connecting with someone.
Right, right. Okay. Murray from Nanaimo emailed in. He says, I'm a proud single dad, but I'm afraid I may scare women off talking about my kids too much on the first date. Should I wait to tell a woman about my family?
Ah, that's a great question. Actually, I have a lot of clients that are in that boat as well, and I think that, well, firstly, you know, more than likely he would be probably going out with someone who has children as well, or is open to being with children. I mean, that's the best dynamic for him. Talking about your kids is great. Yeah, you shouldn't talk about too much. I mean, that's what you're out on a date for, is for you. But I think you should turn that around and ask questions of your date. If they talk about their kids as such, so then it opens the door for the conversation of, you know, where you're going to go with your topic.
Are we losing a little bit of the art of conversation with all the texting and everything now? Forgetting how to talk to people, how to ask questions?
Well, absolutely. But I think if, you know, my whole thing is to actually go out there, be interested in someone. Ask questions about them. The biggest feedback that I get from my clients when I send them on a date is, he didn't ask me any questions, or she doesn't know anything about me after that 1 hour date. I think if you can be interested instead of interesting, you're going to get better results.
Very good. All right. Good advice. If you have any more questions for Jane, you can check out her website, which is matchmakerforhire.com. She and her staff service Vancouver, Victoria, and Calgary. Jane, thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Lovely to see you. If you have any questions for any of our Ask an Experts, or perhaps a suggestion of an expert you'd like to see in the new year, send us an email, weekendnews@globaltv.com. Next week, we have astrologer Georgia Nichols for an extended segment. She'll be telling us what's in store for each sign in 2014.